Hi guys, welcome back to Cities Galore. My name is Daniel and today we're going to talk about buildings that definitely should never have been demolished. Let's go. There are many buildings around the world that have been demolished to make room for more modern replacements. A lot of the time this is justified. We need to constantly renew our cities to improve and make room for new services and new technology. However, there have definitely been some mistakes in the past where buildings that are architecturally important have been demolished when really they could have been saved. Number 1 is Penn Street Station. Penn Street Station was once one of the grandest buildings in the United States, featuring high ceilings, natural light, and a beautiful exterior. Penn Street was considered to be one of the greatest stations in the world. In 1968, it was largely demolished to make way for Madison Square Gardens, with the station mostly moved underground. The international outcry was such that new laws were soon passed to stop the needless demolition of other historically significant buildings in New York. Also, I've been to the current Penn Street station and no offense to New Yorkers, but it's not the best. Number 2, the APA building in Melbourne. This beautiful tower was once the tallest in Australia and one of the tallest in the world. It remained Melbourne's tallest for 40 years. Despite being recognised for its history and unique architectural style, it was demolished in 1980 as it was considered too expensive to bring up to modern fire codes. Number 3, Cannon Street Station in London. The original Cannon Street Station was opened in 1866 and featured ornate twin towers and detailed brickwork. Trains stopped running to Cannon Street Station during World War I and never fully resumed. The building was also damaged by bombing in World War II. In the 1960s, most of the original building was replaced with an office block that was built on top of a newly refurbished station. The rather cheap-looking office block didn't age well and has once again recently been developed with a far more modern alternative. Number 4, downtown Rio. Now this isn't a specific building, but really an entire district of a city. Downtown Rio was once filled with colonial-era architecture and was often compared to Paris for its beauty. Few of these buildings remain in what was one of the biggest modernist redevelopments undertaken by former colonial nation. Number 5 is the Jai Alai building in Manila. Manila suffered greatly in World War II with much of the city destroyed. One of the few buildings of note to survive was the Jai Alai building. I hope I'm saying that right. The Art Deco structure was built in 1940 and was considered the best example of Art Deco in Asia. The building was not well cared for, and by the year 2000 the Manila government demolished it to make way for a government building, which was never actually built. Now you'll find a rather average looking tower where the Art Deco beauty once stood. This is another demolition that sparked a whole range of new laws to stop the same mistakes happening again. Number 6, the Marion Courthouse in Indiana. This courthouse in Indiana wouldn't have looked out of place in one of Europe's capital cities. However, it was demolished in 1963 to make way for a 1 million square foot office tower. With very few examples of such ornate architecture in the United States, it's one of the more recognized losses in that state's history. Number 7, the Church of the Archangel Michael in Warsaw, Poland. Built in the late 1800s as a place of worship for the occupying Russian forces in Warsaw, the church was considered one of the most architecturally significant buildings constructed by the Russians during this time. However, it barely lasted 30 years. After World War I, the Russians left Warsaw and the church lost its original purpose. Soon after, it became associated with Russian dominance over Poland and was subsequently demolished. The site is now occupied by one of Warsaw's main roads. Okay guys, that's it. Those are 7 examples of buildings that really should never have been demolished, could definitely have been saved and preserved. I can't bear to do any more because it really does make me a little bit depressed. I really hate seeing architecturally significant buildings be demolished for no good reason. Don't get me wrong, I love modern architecture, I love modern design, but I do think we need to retain the past in some way, and a lot of these examples were needlessly demolished. The ones that get to me the most, Penn Street Station, I really cannot believe how amazing that was. I never knew that before I started researching for this video, and also that church in Warsaw, what a beauty, and it's such a shame it was demolished so soon after it was built. Okay guys, that's it for today. Let me know what you think. If you have any examples that you know of in your city of buildings that should have been saved but weren't, let me know in the comments. If you like cities and urbanism, then please feel free to subscribe because I've got plenty more videos coming. And yeah, until then, I will see you next time. Bye.